Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build and another family home. Today I am building here in Newcrest, and basically my idea for this house was to build something very fall inspired, and so I wanted to use a lot of fall colors, pumpkins, some jack-o'-lanterns. I didn't want it to feel too like Halloween-y. I've said this in previous builds, but Halloween-y I feel like is a good descriptor, but it sounds so silly. But either way, I wanted to use a few of those just to make it feel even more like fall and not just use pumpkins that aren't carved. And yeah, I thought that'd be a lot of fun since it's fall already. It's been fall for a few days now, and it's a really nice time of year. I know it's a lot of people's favorite time of year. I think depending on where I am, I really love summer. Where I live, though, summer's very, very hot and sometimes unmanageably hot, especially since I've been pregnant. It's very, it's a lot more difficult to handle the heat than it has been in previous summers. So now that it's fall, it's still kind of summer weather for a lot of people, but for me, it's nice. But anyways, so yeah, it's a really nice time of year, and it's got all of the beautiful colors, and that's something that I really love about using seasons in the game. This is probably my favorite season to build in. I don't do it very often because usually I build without a sim on the lot, and then it's just eternal summer like it was before. But yeah, every once in a while it's kind of fun just to switch it up a little bit, and it's the perfect time of year to do so. My least favorite is probably to build in winter though, because you can't see the terrain and the snow covers up the roof, and sometimes it lands on like trim and stuff, like kind of weird. I don't know if you guys agree, but yeah, I'll probably build in winter though when winter comes, and build some things that are Christmassy. I'm really looking forward to that. It's really fun doing these like seasonal holiday type builds. So yeah, anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy, and this house ends up being a pretty good size. Another idea I had for this house was to build something that was really simple, because a lot of people complain about building boxes and they're like, I can only build boxes. My houses always look just plain and I don't know how to make them look interesting. So I wanted to kind of challenge myself and build something that was more plain and simple, but use a lot of landscaping and extra decorations to make it feel really cozy and like it has all of those extra pieces that a more elaborate house might have. And so I think I achieved it, because I actually really like this house. At first I'm like, is it gonna be too simple? But thankfully I think it ended up being a really pretty home, and hopefully you guys will like it. Here I'm starting with the floor plan right away because, well, it's the smartest thing to do, and I don't always do it, but actually recently I've been pretty good about remembering to do the floor plan before finishing all of the landscaping. I'm sure most of you guys know by now, but I always say it, do the floor plan before you do the landscaping, because it's so much easier to make changes before you place all of the plans. And also this time I remembered about the second floor, because the last family home that I did, I just started decorating the first floor without even touching the floor plan at the second floor. I was like, oh, what is wrong with me? Speaking of things that was wrong with me, oh my goodness. Okay, so I built this house up until the point of, I'll point it out when it happens. I'm not exactly sure when it is, but I'll know when I see it. But basically, I built the house, and then I saved once, and then I started working on a lot of the landscaping, and then I furnished the entire first floor of the build, and then exited out of the game without saving. So I had to go back through my recorded footage and redo everything that I had already done. It was so frustrating and so annoying. And I did miss a few things, but when I was going through and editing the footage, I caught them and was able to replace them. So I think everything looks exactly how you'll see it in the video, but if anything does look slightly different in the screenshots than they do than what you're seeing, or when you download it, it's because that happened. So it's really unfortunate, but thankfully I recorded it, and I record everything usually, so but thankfully it was recorded, so I could go back through and just copy what I'd already done. But here I did want the yard to be a little bit raised. I thought that would be pretty interesting. And I was looking at a reference picture for this build, by the way. Some of you guys probably know, but I played that game. It's called Home Design. I played on my cell phone, and I saw this house that was yeah, really cute, and it's very similar to this one. So it had a raised yard, and so I thought that would be cute to do here. And that's why I didn't show any of me decorating the backyard just there, because I ended up deleting it anyways, and I completely redo it. And I'm so happy that I did, because I ended up really liking my second version of the backyard. And that's why I didn't continue with it, because I don't know, it wasn't coming together very easily. And so yeah, just deleted it, decided to start over, and that I think was like the smartest thing to do. I find terrain editing very difficult, by the way. I know I should probably do it more often, but I find it very challenging. But either way, this is a point where I started doing the landscaping that I didn't save. So everything before now has been saved, and everything up until the second story was not saved. That was like an hour and a half, which thankfully was only an hour and a half, because I thought I had spent longer, because usually landscaping and decorating really can take a very long time, especially in a pretty good sized house. And I think this house is a pretty good size, but thankfully I did it kind of quickly. Some of you guys might not think an hour and a half is very quickly, but for me, I thought I actually did a really good job speeding through it with still making it look nice. So yeah, it's very frustrating. I don't know why I did that. I haven't exited out of the game without saving at least a dozen times in so long. Usually I save and then exit and save while I'm building. I'll stop and pause and save, and yeah, it just did not happen this time. But yeah, thankfully I was able to redo it, like I said, so I'm really happy about that. But you will notice I put some pumpkins around the front where it steps down leading to the road. I thought that was super cute. And all of the plants that I'm using, I think, are pretty much Live Edit Objects plants. I really like them, like I've mentioned a million times by now, but the textures to me are so much more realistic, and I think they look really pretty. And they especially look pretty right now because since it's fall in the game, they have all of their colors and they just look so just like rich and detailed, and I really love them. And then the ivy that I'm using on the exterior of the build is actually a debug, I think a Live Edit Object through the debug menu that you can get with Discover University, and it's a really nice ivy. I think it's probably the best ivy that we have in game, and I think some also came with another pack. It might be Realm of Magic, but I might be mistaken. But there's tons of different options that came in Discover University, and so that's what I used all around the build, and I think it looks so pretty. Yeah, and basically for the landscaping, I just wanted to use the same sort of plants over and over, so I only use like a small amount of them and just kind of repeat them and try to place them in a way that I think looks nice and kind of interesting. And I think it actually worked out pretty well, and I really like the backyard. Back here I end up getting a bee box, a couple of gardening pots, a swing set, and a barbecue and a picnic bench. Just a nice place for the family to sit out and have a barbecue. I didn't really think this was like the type of house to have like a swimming pool. Originally, I thought about having a hot tub. You may have noticed that a little bit earlier in my first backyard attempt. But yeah, I ended up not really having the space for it. And once I placed the other things that I wanted, I wasn't too bothered by it. But I did think a hot tub would be nice because it would be cooler out and you could, you know, soak in the hot tub. But yeah, after I started decorating, I was like, I don't really feel like this is the type of house to have one. So I wasn't too bothered by it, but I definitely wanted them to have a swing set. I also would have liked for them to have like a sandbox or something, but I didn't really think of like a great place to put one. So yeah, unfortunately there's not one, but that's okay because there ends up being, well, 2 kids in this house and not a toddler. And usually I like to do sandboxes for toddlers because they really don't have that many activities that they can do in a backyard that really makes sense, because all of the toddler activities are kind of big besides the slide. And so I feel like a sandbox is a good way to give them something to do. And I ended up not having a toddler in this build. So yeah, I wasn't too bothered by it. But as for the family, I was trying to think of their personalities and think of, you know, the Sims that live here, obviously. And I was thinking that it was 2 parents, a mom and a dad, and their 3 kids, a teenager, and then 2 children Sims. And the mom, I think she is like a soccer mom. She does everything. She runs her kids everywhere. She's like, goes to all the PTA meetings. She like bakes and packs all of the school lunches, and like she's like super mom. And so I also think she's really obsessed with decorating for holidays, and I think she goes above and beyond what I've done here, but this is like her beginning decorating for fall. So she has a few decorations out, but there's no lights on the exterior of the house. There's no like ghosts in the yard. I think she goes all out for, you know, the spooky holidays, for the Thanksgiving like holidays, for Christmas, all of the holidays that they might celebrate depending on the family that you have living here, obviously. But yeah, I thought that was a really fun idea for her. And she's a stay-at-home mom too, so she's all about her kids, all about her house, and taking care of her family. And so I think that's a really nice idea, because I don't think I've done too many stay-at-home parents. I mean, I think I've done a few, but it's been a really long time. Usually I try to give them a career. And so I think this was kind of like a nice way to switch it up a little bit. And for the dad in this house, he's kind of where I slacked. I feel like he just does, like he's a cop or something. I didn't put any cop items around the house. Maybe I should have in the office or something, but that was the only career that really came to mind. But I feel like he just has like a job that he goes to. Maybe he's just like a businessman or something. But he also loves his family as well. Like they're very family oriented, and they do a lot of stuff together. They go camping together, they go on vacations together, and they, you know, have like big family dinners and holidays and parties and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was like a really sweet idea, just to have like a nice, like loving family. Maybe they have drama. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure you guys can come up with something if you decide to play in this house, and with the type of family that I had in mind. Of course, you guys could switch it up and have any Sims living here that you would like to. But then for the kids, so there's a teenager, like I mentioned, and I was thinking it was a girl, but you know, it could easily be a boy. It doesn't really matter, but that's what I was thinking in my head. And I was thinking that she is really into like pop art, I want to say, and like digital art. So I tried to decorate her bedroom with some cool different like artsy pieces, and I also gave her a drawing tablet, because I didn't want to give her a traditional art easel, because I don't think she's really too interested in doing that. I think she, I don't know, just kind of just doesn't feel like it's too necessary. I feel like she'd probably draw a little bit, but not necessarily paint on an easel. She much prefers her digital drawing pad, and she is really into like graffiti. I didn't put any graffiti in her room, but I think she like really thinks it's cool, like if she ever goes to the city or something. And so I thought that was a pretty fun personality, because I can't remember the last time that I'd done a bedroom for a teenager who wants to be an artist. I'm sure I've done it recently, because it's a pretty common skill and a pretty popular skill to use in the game, but I can't really remember the last time that I've done specifically an artist. I've done musician a lot for teenagers, so I'm trying to hold off on that one for a while. But yeah, I thought this was a pretty fun way to mix it up a little bit. And of course, if you guys have any ideas for like teenagers and kids, I would always appreciate it, and especially adults, because I slack there a lot. And then for the children, one of them I was thinking is a boy, and I basically decided his theme because I was having the idea for the mom being like a soccer mom. I was like, well, then one of the kids needs to be into soccer. And so he's an athlete, and he's just really good at soccer, and basically I think he's just an all-around like sports enthusiast. Like he loves basketball, baseball, he likes to watch it on TV, like he's completely obsessed. I imagine the only shirt he ever wears is a jersey, and it's his whole world. And so I tried to make his room reflect that, and it was super fun to decorate. His room is probably my favorite because it's super cluttered, and there was just lots of decorations that I thought suited the colors that I was using and like the theme of the room. So I really enjoyed decorating his room. And then for the other child, I was imagining it's another girl, and she is super into void critters, because this was another room theme that I've done before, but I haven't done in a while. And I was basically inspired once I placed the bed down. So you'll see once we get onto the second floor that I placed the bed down. I was like, okay, we're going with that theme. And her room is just super cute. It's very purple, it's very pink, and I just, yeah, absolutely adore it. But anyways, here you can see I'm making another one of those pianos that I've done recently and a few times in the past. It's totally functional. I really hope we get one eventually, but for now, thankfully I can kind of make my own and it works, and I think it looks really good. But basically for the living room, I just wanted there to be a lot of just clutter, decorations, some toys around. I put that, what is it called? That little knitting box that has the bunny rabbit in there. I put it in there just to feel like there's some toys in there, but it's also a usable item. If you wanted to use it, your Sims can put it in their inventory and knit stuff. But I thought it was kind of cute, just as like clutter. So I really liked that. And then here's the downstairs bathroom. There's only 2 bathrooms in this build. I really wanted to be able to fit a washer and dryer, so that's what this little room is that I just tried to make here, but it took up too much space in the office. So yeah, I could have easily squeezed one in this downstairs bathroom, but since there's only one other bathroom upstairs, I decided I wanted another shower tub combo down here just to make your guys' lives a little bit easier. But you could probably put a washer and dryer in the kitchen somewhere, or just have a clothesline outside if you really wanted to do laundry. Or maybe you could put it somewhere else. You could turn this office into a laundry room if you wanted to. I don't know if you'd really want to do that, but you could definitely, if you felt like it, there's totally a space to do it. But either way, here it's just like a generic office. I wanted to have a computer desk. I also put the pumpkin carving station in here as well. You'd probably want to drag it outside to use it and then have like the whole Sims family, like put multiple ones out there so they could all carve pumpkins together. But I wanted to put it somewhere in the build, and I didn't think it looked so good just plopping it down outside somewhere just to have it for, just to have it basically. So I put it in here, and I think it actually looks really good. And then for like other times of the year, maybe you could put like a kid's drawing table or an art easel or something else just to have another activity in the build. But then over here is going to be the dining room. I really love the color combination. I know I've probably overused this like orangey wood color in like so many builds. So I tried to refrain myself and not use it throughout the entire build. So I don't do it in the kitchen. I use the Jungle Adventure counters instead of the Parenthood ones, because I think if I would have used the Parenthood ones, I would have just went for the orange wood because it's like perfect for this whole color scheme that I'm going for. But I liked the rug and like the chair, the color combination I thought worked really nicely together. So yeah, I really like that dining room. And then over here is going to be the kitchen. I think the kitchen is a really good size, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I'm actually really happy with this floor plan in general because it was actually kind of difficult to come up with. I tried another floor plan and I just cut it out of the footage because yeah, it was basically nothing happened from it. I just started putting up walls and then I got confused with where I was going to put the rooms. But then once I tried again, it actually came together really easily. And the only thing I didn't think I was going to like about it, and I'm still not 100% happy about it, is the really long and narrow living room. I always try to avoid that whenever I can, but I've done it a few times recently and I think I've made it work. I think I made it work here. I tried to basically kind of mimic the same layout of the furniture that I did in the previous build, and I think it worked. But yeah, it's not my favorite layout for a living room. But thankfully my makeshift piano kind of helped fill in some space, so it worked out pretty well. But either way, I'm just cluttering up the kitchen. I add a little table here in the center as a replacement for an island because I didn't want to place an island because I thought it would take up too much space, so I just put some fruit on the table. And I also really love the Jungle Adventure stove and refrigerator. It's probably a bit over the top because they're orange and it really only works for this time of year probably. And I bet you probably wouldn't want it maybe at Christmas time when you're using lots of reds and greens. And I don't know if it's a very realistic idea to have your Sims family switch them out for every holiday season. But I thought it looked really good and I loved the orange. I thought it was super fun. But here's like a little sunroom. I put a chess table in here and some plants and also the flower arranging table. I thought this was just like a really nice feature, and it was something that I saw in that build reference that I was looking at. So I really wanted to include it. And the lighting and these Moschino windows are like so beautiful and perfect. You may have noticed though that I did have a door leading to the exterior that I completely forgot about, so I just replaced it with a window. But you could easily like place it back and then have a little way to walk to the backyard from that room too if you wanted to, but I wasn't too bothered by it. But either way, so I did all of that decorating, all of that landscaping, And then right before I started this point, I exited my game and did not save. So I had to go back through and redo everything. Like I mentioned, it was so frustrating and I was so mad at myself. Like I had to step away for a few hours and like cool off because I was so irritated. But thankfully it wasn't too difficult and it took like a fraction of the time to replace everything, but still very annoying. But here on the upstairs landing, I just have this side table and I put some decorations on it, another pumpkin just to be extra festive. I really love the faces, they're so cute. But yeah, over here I am decorating the upstairs bathroom. So like I said, there's only 2 in the build, so this is the second one. And I basically just copied over the counters and the sink and just tried to make it feel like it matched the other bathroom, because I feel like that makes a build feel really cohesive. I know I've mentioned this before, but using the same tile throughout the bathrooms and the kitchens and using similar decorations just make it feel like they all belong together. Maybe it's not that realistic because I know my bathrooms in my home aren't identical, but I think for The Sims it totally works. But the first bedroom that I'm going to decorate is for the parents. I really loved the color scheme in here. I think it's really pretty. I really like these curtains in this like light tealy green blue color, whatever you call it. I guess teal works. And then I used this bed from the Eco Lifestyle pack. I thought it was also really pretty, and I really like this like corally pinky orange color is super pretty. And I found this artwork that we got from, I forget exactly which pack that artwork came from, but some of the colors I thought matched the bed and the curtains like really nicely, so I was really happy about that. And then for some reason I decided to add a vanity. I felt like I hadn't used one in a while. I'm sure that's also not true, but I think I use this item quite a bit, but I felt like I hadn't, and I thought it'd be nice for the mom to have a space to do her makeup since she's like all about like taking care of her family. I thought it'd be nice for her to also be really well put together, just kind of like a Stepford wife. Like maybe she always wears dresses and she always has her hair and makeup done. Like she's basically Wonder Woman. And so she's amazing, and I thought it'd be a nice thing for her to have a space to do her hair and makeup in her nice little vanity. But here I'm just adding a side table underneath this window. I thought it'd be nice just to yeah, add some more clutter and decorations. Originally I was gonna leave it empty over here, but I thought it'd be kind of nice just to have something a bit extra. And I also put a radio over here. There's also a lot of plants in the build, which I really enjoy. And since I do have that sunroom, I think it kind of makes sense. So one of them is really into plants. Maybe the dad's really into plants. I feel like he could probably do that as like a hobby or something. I didn't think about that till now, but I think that's definitely a possibility. But the first room that I'm decorating is going to be the teenagers' room. So like I was saying, they're really into art. They love pop art and street art and all that kind of stuff. Like I feel like they really want to go live in Del Sol Valley or San Myshuno and just be a part of like the city life. And I feel like they're just completely obsessed with that kind of stuff. And they're very close to going to college, so I feel like they probably will maybe stay at home to go to college. But they really want to study art and get their degree in art, and yeah, they're just, it's their whole world basically. And so I tried to reflect that, but I wanted it to feel like it wasn't traditional art. And so like I mentioned, there's no art easel in here, but there is that drawing pad. And then I thought the skateboards above the bed could be maybe something they painted themselves, like they took their old skateboards and painted them. I thought that was actually a pretty cute idea. So yeah, that was my idea behind this room, and I really just, I don't know, I love it so much. I had so much fun with this room, and the colors were basically inspired by the bed that I used, and yeah, I liked that as well. The red and the blue actually goes together really nicely. And then over here I'm just cluttering up the desk and putting a poster above it as well. I just sized down this one that we got from Get Famous. I really love that poster. I've used a lot of the different color swatches a ton of times. I always really enjoy it because it's really nice art. I think it's really pretty, and it's funny to me that it's in the wall hanging decorations rather than like the painting category. It's kind of strange, but either way, it's really nice. And then the second room that I'm decorating is going to be for the little boy who is into soccer, and he is, well, not just soccer. He's into like every sport, but soccer and basketball are really the only games that they can play. So I put a soccer ball in here, and at the landing on the stairs, there is a basketball there too. So yeah, I figured that was his mess that he left behind. I thought that was pretty cute. And thankfully we have a ton of posters for soccer and sports related stuff in the game, mostly soccer rather than other sports. So it's pretty much just that represented, but we do have that framed jersey and then the trophy, so I thought that was a good way to add extra decoration. And then also we have that soccer lamp, which is perfect, and then this wall hanging that has tons of little like kind of sports related stuff on it, so I thought that was pretty perfect. And I also really enjoyed adding the pops of orange in this room. I thought it was super fun. That was of course inspired by the bed that I placed in here. So this dresser has the orange drawers, and then this little bear chair is a bright orange color, which I thought was super cute. And then I also gave him a fish bowl so he could have a little pet fish, which I thought was a pretty cute idea. And then here I'm just cluttering up the dresser with tons of different stuff, and I also clutter up the top of the bookcase, just trying to make it feel extra lived in and decorated. I feel like he's the messiest. Well, actually no, I did put the floor mess on the teenager's floor, but I still feel like he's not necessarily messy. It's like an organized mess. It's just really decorated. But like I said, this was like my favorite room to decorate out of all of them. I just kind of went crazy with it. So I think that's why there's extra stuff in his room. But either way, I think it's super cute. And then there I just added some extra toys and stuff by his bedside. And then here is going to be the girls' room. And so she is totally obsessed with void critters, and she has a full-on void critter bedroom. And so like I mentioned, this was definitely inspired by the bed that I used in here, and also with the fact that I haven't done a void critter bedroom in a while and we have tons of void critter stuff. So I used the void critter posters and then also the gaming console that you can place on the floor. It's really big, but yeah, I definitely had to use it because I feel like she spends the majority of her time playing void critters. And then I also used that wall hanging that we got from Eco Lifestyle that has the little hooks on it, and I raised up the backpack to look like it was hanging from it. And I got that idea from Julia Films, and she's the one that I got this Reshade from. She sent me the link to it, so I was able to download it, and so I will have her channel linked again in the description. Like I said, if you guys have not checked out her channel yet, she's one of my favorites, and I think she's a really talented builder. So yeah, check it out in the description. But I thought this was a super cute idea that I saw in one of her videos, and I just had to try it for myself. And it looks so good. I wish we had more stuff that could actually hang from hooks because it looks really nice in my opinion. But yeah, here I'm just going through and finding different clutter to put around the room and some more void critter stuff. I clutter up the shelf that I have hanging above the bed, and then of course I clutter up the dresser with a few decorations. I kind of struggled a little bit more with this room finding enough stuff that I thought suited like the color scheme and the personality. Like more, it was definitely more of a struggle than the other two bedrooms, but I think I made it work, and I think it's super adorable. And I love sizing up that teddy bear that we got from the knitting stuff pack. What's it called? Nifty Knitting, I think is the name. Either way, that bear's adorable and I really enjoy using it. But yeah, this is basically it for the build. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope you guys enjoy the screenshots. So thank you so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions that you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!